Hello, fellow refiners. Tony here to talk about one of my favorite subjects, my fascination with Donald Trump's myriad legal problems and political problems now, but from a British perspective. And it certainly isn't boring. On the political side, it's really been fascinating to see the tremendous boost to the Democrats' presidential campaign since Joe Biden stepped aside and Kamala Harris took the top of the ticket. It's just made the whole thing so much more positive and invigorating. And for me, as you've heard me say before, this isn't a left versus right thing at all. I've always throughout my life lent to the right, and I would normally, I think, gravitate towards the Republican side of political ideology. But I think with the introduction into this left-right equation of this divisive figure in the shape of Donald Trump, it's not really a left versus right thing. It's a right versus wrong thing. And I think that is evidenced by the rise in the number of Republicans, and I mean true Republicans, as opposed to MAGA Republicans, if you like. The rise in their number, the true Republicans, getting behind Kamala Harris's campaign to take the White House, which is extraordinary, really. But I think that the plain fact of the matter is that these proper Republicans, if I may put it that way, can really see just how damaging Donald Trump is to their party and to the whole American dream. It's just very extraordinary to me as a Brit to look at the country that I love, the second country that I love, America, the United States, to look and see what's happened to the Republican Party since Donald Trump wrested control of it. And to see, I mean, there's no doubt that Trump obviously has talent for something. I'm not quite sure what that is, or even if talent is the right word, but he's certainly garnered a lot of support from voters. I mean, there's no getting away from that. But if you look at him as a man and his conduct generally, his conduct in business, his conduct with women, his conduct as a human being generally, it's just so appalling that it's difficult for me to understand how people can support such a person. And it's sad to see that so many prominent Republican leaders appear to have endorsed him purely on the basis that he has this popular support from voters. They have buried their views as previously expressed. They've buried their negative views about Trump as previously expressed. It seems to me just on the basis that they see him as a winner for them. And I don't think that does them any credit. Do you? Even this guy, the new vice president, the new running mate for Trump, J.D. Vance. I mean, he said that he saw Trump as the American Hitler, and he's made very, very derogatory remarks about the kind of person that Trump is. And yet now he's completely wiped all that. And in order to become a disciple of Trump, burying his true beliefs. And the fact of the matter is that you can't. I can't believe that any of these Republicans who are now supporting him, those particularly those who previously said the most derogatory things about him, they can't really believe in their cause, can they? I mean, it's not possible to to flip to that degree. Um, and present your case with any credibility. They don't believe in their cause, and you can't be a good salesperson if you don't truly believe in what you're selling, can you? Anyway, that's how I see it. But what we're seeing as you look at the there's a campaign now, isn't there, called Republicans for Kamala Harris. Uh, Look at the rise we're seeing in support for her, not only from Democrats, understandably from Democrats, but not only from them, but from Republicans who do want to be true to themselves. Look at the rise in their support and the rising support from them, and look at her results improving all the time in the polls. But so it's, I mean, it's as I said in my last take on this, it's truly great to see this rise of enthusiasm. It's turned it into a really exciting battle for the White House. So that's the political side. But on the legal side, Trump's DC trial for his interference, the efforts that he made to undo the outcome of the 2020 election, where frankly the evidence looks pretty damning. That's now been handed back after a long, really, frankly, inexcusable delay caused by the Supreme Court of the United States, SCOTUS. That's now back in the hands of the trial judge, Tanya Chutkan, if I've got that pronunciation correct, who seems to be a person whose head is firmly screwed on, and she means business. So SCOTUS made a sweeping, unfathomable immunity decision, granting him really what amounts on, if you look at it in the round, what amounts to de facto absolute immunity with certain qualifications. But what they did do was say that the trial judge has to make specific factual findings on what acts Trump committed, that were official and therefore immune, and those that were not. She has the control back, and she means business, and she's set a trial, a schedule leading up to trial, which is quick and shows that she means business. But anyway, I was sent by a good friend of mine, a lawyer in California, and I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to get him killed, but or attacked in any way. He sent me an article which he said was worth looking at, and it's quite funny, really, but it has a lot of truth in it. And it's from a blog. I'd understand this guy to be a tremendously popular blogger, I guess, and what is his name? His name is, I've never heard of him before today, but his name is Jeff Tiderich. The article is dated the 5th of August, which was yesterday. And his blog, if that's what it is entitled "Everyone is Entitled to My Own Opinion," which is quite funny in itself. The title of this specific article, which I thought I would read to you, is "Judge Chutkan Gets Back to Work." And the byline is "She's Not Screwing Around." And before I read this further, I want to apologize for the language, which I wouldn't normally use in a podcast, but these are not my words. But I think if I take away the dodgy language, I think it does sort of detract from the writing. So here we go. Tanya Chutkan, the judge presiding over the big Trump DC election interference fuckery trial, is back, baby. And he continues, Donnie's DC trial had been on hold since forever, while the 6 bought and paid for Federalist Society SCOTUS hacks farted around and took their sweet time pretending to figure out how to rule on this whole "our president's actually kings" thing, as if the corrupt outcome was ever in doubt. Of course, they finally declared that Donnie is a very special boy who gets to commit all the presidential crimes he wants, and then dumped the whole thing back in Judge Chutkan's lap and said, "Here, someone needs to decide if trying to overturn an election is a special presidential not crime or an ordinary person crime. That someone is you. So figure it the fuck out." On Friday afternoon, Judge Chutkan received the okay to start the figure it the fuck out process. And she didn't waste a moment. First thing, Sunday morning, she took up the motion Donnie had filed about how "I have presidential immunity to do all the crimes I want, and therefore there should be no trial." Yeah, no. Piss straight up a rope, Judge Chutkan ruled. Judge Chutkan denies without prejudice Trump's motion to dismiss the indictment. She advises that he can refile a renewed motion once the immunity issues have been resolved. Next, she set up a hearing schedule. She also directed the parties to file a joint status report by August 9th, not even a week away. And she set a scheduling conference for the following week on August 16 at 10 a.m. Lastly, she took up Donnie's motion that Jack Smith is mean and has a stupid beard, and he hates me, and this whole trial should be dismissed because it's so unfair. Judge Chutkan basically told Donnie to eat an entire bag of dicks. No way she was doing any of that shit. New. Judge Chutkan rejects Trump's motion to dismiss his criminal charges in D.C. based on vindictive and selective prosecution. All that in one morning. This is what justice looks like when the presiding judge isn't buying any of this "Donnie is a very special boy" nonsense. And Tanya Chutkan is not fucking around. Contrast that to the miscarriage of jurisprudence that went on down in Florida as Judge Fangirl dragged her heels for over a year before ultimately dismissing the big Trump stolen classified document trial on the grounds that, yep, you guessed it, Jack Smith is mean and has a stupid beard and never should have been hired in the first place. No, there won't be a criminal trial before November, but there will be a lot of Donny's dirty laundry aired during these hearings, right in the thick of election season. Here's a fun bit of collateral damage for Donny Convict. He's had it easy for a couple of months, but now he's got to go back to shelling out millions to his ace team of parking garage lawyers so they can all file their inane motions and represent him in Judge Chutkan's court. And of course, all this money will be coming straight from the Republican Party coffers. That's the whole reason Donny put Lara Trump in charge of this big grift in the first place. So instead of campaign donations going to, down ballot candidates, they'll instead be used to pay for the upkeep of Alina Hubbard's brand new kidneys. So I thought that was very funny. Huge kudos to Jeff Tiderich for his writing there. I've subscribed to his blog, and I thoroughly recommend that if you enjoy that you do the same. He's a funny writer, and there's a hell of a lot of truth in what he's written. So I thought I'd share that with you. But that's my take for today, and from now it's, of course, as usual, goodbye from me, and I look forward to the next time. Thank you for listening and watching. Bye for now.